Welcome to Learn Yourself. Today we are going to learn and understand exercise 3.3. It's from chapter number 3, data handling. Exercise 3.3, question number 1. Use the bar graph figure 3.3 to answer the following questions. We have here bar graph in which on the y-axis the number of students are there, and on the x-axis we have here pet animals. So how many students have pet animals like dogs, cats, rabbits, hamsters and other animals? That bar graph they have represented here. Now based on this bar graph we have to answer these two questions. Question number A, which is the most popular pet? Popular pet means which pet's strength is highest among all these pets. So you can see it here that cat's strength is highest among all other pets. So 10 students have pet as a cat. So the most popular pet is cat. So answer for the question A is cat. Now question number B, how many students have dog as a pet? So this is a specific question related to dogs. So here this is a bar graph of dog, and here you can see that it is coming till the reading 8. So 8 students are having dogs as a pet. Exercise 3.3, question number 2. Read the bar graph figure 3.4 which shows the number of books sold by a bookstore during 5 consecutive years and answer the following question. Now let us first understand the bar graph. To understand the bar graph and to take the reading precisely, that how many number of books have been sold in particular years, so you have to use a scale. Keep a scale over here as I have shown you over here, and mark in between the readings where we can put 50, 150 and so on. So these readings will help us to get estimated values for number of books sold in particular year. Here as you can see it here, I have enlarged this figure over here. So in between you can take a line with the help of the scale, and where you can mark your reading 50. Now how we are going to take estimated values for the number of books sold is, if it is in between 0 to 50, then we are counting as 25. If it is little bit towards 50 and so, we are taking a reading as per 30 and 40. And if it is little bit down over there, we are taking 10 and 20. So that is how we are taking estimated values for number of books sold. So for that you have to draw a lines like this, as I have drew a lines for the bar graph 1989, 1990 and so on. So let us first take the value for the year 1989. So that bar graph ends over here. As you can see, I have drew a line over here and it is coming just in between 150 and 250. So 150 plus 30 I am taking because it is little towards 200, as you can see. So 150 plus 30 will give me 180 books sold in 1989. So here I am going to write 180 books sold. Similarly for 1990, as you can see that line lies over here. It's in between 450 and 500 but little towards 450. So 450 plus 20 I am going to take. So it will give me 470. So in 1990 it is going to be 470. Now let us check for 1991. So as I have drew a line here and it goes straight to 300. So we don't need to estimate this. This is 300 reading. Then comes to 1992. It comes over here just a little bit down to 250. So I am taking 10 less than 250. So it will give me 240. Then year 1993, it comes a little bit down over here under 600. So I am taking 10 less than 600. So it will give me 590 books sold in year 1993. So whenever you are taking estimated values for the bar graph, if you have any doubts, you can draw a lines as I have shown you in the figure. So these lines will help you to take your estimated values. You can also write readings in between like this. So it will give you more precise reading for your bar graph. Now we have to answer some of the questions based on the bar graphs. So here I have noted down the readings which we got it from the bar graph, that in year 1989 the cell was 180. Similarly for 1990, 91, 92 and 93 I have taken the readings here what we got it from the bar graph. Now we have to answer this question. First question is about how many books were sold in 1989, 1990 and 1992. So from this reading, we are going to write this, that 1989, the 180 books were sold. In 1990, 470 books were sold. Whereas in 1992, 240 books were sold. Second question, in which year about 475 books sold, about 225 books sold? Now in bar graph, we are taking estimated values. So every time your readings will not match with the exact readings as they are giving. So here they have said that about 475 books sold. So here we have to check from our reading that which value is almost near to 475, because they haven't said 475 books sold. They said about 475 books sold. So we can take this year, that in 1990 about 470 books were sold, because our reading is near to 475, which is 470. Now second question is about 225 books sold. So in the year 1992, the cell was 240, which is near to 225. So we can take this year, that 1992. In the year of 1992, approximate cell was 225. Third question, in which years were fewer than 250 books sold? So in 1989 and in 1992. In these 2 years, the book sale was lesser than 250 books. So here I am going to write in the year 1989 and in the year 1992, the sale was fewer than 250 books. As you can see, our answers are correct. Only approximate value will vary because we do not have precise reading. Because we do not have exact reading. All these values are approximate. So, little bit variation from the exact value is okay and should be fine. The fourth question is, can you explain how you would estimate the number of books sold in 1989? So in 1989, the cell was 180. And how we have estimated this value? That it was little fewer than 200 books sold mark. So we have taken reading here 180. Exercise 3.3, question number 3. Number of children in 6 different classes are given below. Represent the data on a bar graph. So we have one table over here in which class 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th student strength have been given to us. That is number of children, that in class 5, 135 children are there, and so on for all the classes. Now we have to answer some of the questions based on this table. That first question is, how would you choose a scale? So we have to draw a bar graph based on this table. So let us first draw a bar graph and then we will answer the questions based on that bar graph. So this is my y-axis and this is my x-axis over here. On y-axis, I am going to take number of children, and for that I have to see the scale. As you can see here, the minimum reading is 80 and the maximum reading over here is 135. So my graph will start from 80 and it will go till 135. So accordingly, I have to take a scale. So I am starting from here, number 10, and so on. I am taking 10, 20, 30 for each and every dark green line. That is for every column I am taking one reading. I have to take the last reading, that is 135. So I have taken here 140 because it will come in between 130 and 140. So this is my y-axis scale on which I have taken the readings at the difference of 10, that 10, 20, 30, 40 and so on. Now we have to represent here the class. My classes will go on x-axis. So I am taking difference of two columns, that after 20 columns I am taking one class. So here my 5th standard will be there. After two columns I am taking 6th standard. After two columns I am taking 7th standard, 8th standard, 9th and 10th. You can write this in words also, that 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th. Mark a reading for a bar graph. So first 5th standard, so maximum reading, that is 135. So my 130 lies over here. So in between 130 and 40, my 100 will come. So I am going to make 5 columns line over here, which I am going to draw it and join it over here on the x-axis, and this is going to be my bar graph for 5th standard. Similarly, I am going to take reading for all the classes. Now for 6th standard it is 120, so it will come here 120 for 6th standard. Now for 7th standard it is 95. This is 100 and this is 90. So in between I am taking 95 reading. Here it will come. Then for 8th standard it is 100. For 9th standard it is 90. For 10th standard it is 80. As you can see here, I have marked each and every reading. Now we are going to draw a bar graph. For that I have taken 5 columns line over here. From there you can draw a bar graph like this, which I am going to join on x-axis like this. So here this is my bar graph, and now based on bar graph we are going to answer this question. That question 1 is, which class has maximum number of children and the minimum? So here from the bar graph we can see that maximum number of children are there in class 5, whereas minimum number of children are there in class 10, that is 80. So here we are going to write that maximum number of children are 135 and they are in class 5. Whereas minimum number of children are 80 and they are in class 10th. Question number 2. Find the ratio of students of class 6 to the students of class 8. Now class 6 students are 120, whereas class 8 students are 100. So we are going to take a ratio, that is we are dividing 120 by 100. So now we have to divide them. So here we can cancel out 110, and here we will get 6 into 2 divided by 2 into 5. So 2 and 2 we can cancel it out, and here we got a ratio 6 by 5. We will get is 6 is to 5. That is how we can write the ratio when they are asking for. 6 by 5 is in divisional form. Here we are writing in a ratio form. So we are going to write this 6 is to 5. exercise 3.3, question number 4. The performance of a student in first term and second term is given. Draw a double bar graph choosing appropriate scale and answer the following. So here we have to draw a double bar graph. So what is a double bar graph and when we are using double bar graph? When we are taking a comparative study or when we are doing a comparative study like here that we are comparing one student's mark for term 1 and term 2, then we are choosing double bar graph method. In this method it is very easy to compare that whether his performance was good in term 1 or in term 2. So in double bar graph, on one of the axes we are taking two reading and on one of the axes we are taking only one reading. So here as you can see there are two terms. So term 1 and term 2 will come on one axis whereas marks will come on another axis. So here we are going to take on y axis the marks. So marks we are going to write on the y axis or we are marking it on the y axis. Whereas on x axis we are going to represent term 1 and term 2. So here term 1 will come and term 2 will come. But how we will differentiate? With the subject. So here I am going to mark subject, that English, Hindi, Math, Science and Social Science, that is SS. Now here I am going to take two reading for term 1 and term 2. And similarly I am going to mark it, I am going to match it with the axis y with its marks. So it is going to be a comparative study. It is going to be a comparison with term 1 mark and term 2 mark for one particular subject. So let us see how we are going to do that, and we are going to answer some of the question based on this double bar graph. Now, how to choose a scale? So first we are locating here the maximum reading. Here maximum reading is 95, whereas minimum reading here is 67 and 65. So 65 will be our minimum reading. So we have to take both of this reading on our y-axis. So we are going to start our reading from 10. So for each column I am marking 10 marks and the scale I am taking is 10. Now here on x-axis I am going to write subjects, that for English it will come here, then Hindi. Now let us mark our reading as per the marks. For term 1 English the student has scored 67. So 67 will come over here. Let us first mark all the term 1 marks. So English it is 67. For Hindi it is 72. So it is Hindi. Then Maths it is 88. Science it is 81. Social Science it is 73. And here we have completed readings for the term 1. Now similarly we are going to mark the reading for the term 2, and for term 2 English student has scored 70. So I am going to mark it over here. Then for Hindi he scored 65. So 65 will come here. Then Math he scored 95. For Science he scored 85. Social Science he scored 75. And now similarly I am going to join all the line to x-axis. So I have taken here bar graphs with respect to two terms results of a student for English, Hindi, Math, Science and Social Science. Now let us answer some of the questions. First question, in which subject has the child improved his performance the most? Now first let us find out in what all subject he has improved. So term 2's mark should be better than term 1. So it is in English, then in Math, then in Science and in Social Science. Now let us see the difference. In which subject he has improved the most? So Here 3 marks difference is there. Here 7 marks difference is there. In science 4 marks difference is there, and in social science 2 marks difference is there. So in math he has improved the most. So here I am going to write the subject, that is in math subject he has improved the most, that he got more marks in math compared to term 1. Second question, in which subject is the improvement the least? So improvement wise, in English, math, science and social science, where the difference is least, that in that subject his improvement is least. In English, the difference is 3 marks, whereas in social science, the difference is 2 marks. So in social science, he improved the least. He has improved, but only 2 marks difference is there. So that's why his improvement is least in social science. Third question. Has the performance gone down in any subject? Yes, performance has gone down, and that is in Hindi. That in Hindi subject he got less mark compared to first term. So here the answer will be Hindi. And the same thing you can also find out from the bar graphs. As you can see in Hindi, the difference of 2 bars are maximum over here. So the difference is more, and you can see that performance has gone down because yellow bar is smaller compared to blue bar. And similarly, you can find out each and every answer from the bar graph. Exercise 3.3, question number 5. Consider this data collected from a survey of a colony in which they are showing that people watching their favorite sport and people who are participating in their favorite sport. So here sports they have given are cricket, basketball, swimming, hockey and athletics. So based on this we have to draw a bar graph. So first let us locate the minimum reading and maximum reading. So here the minimum reading is 105, whereas the maximum reading is 1240. So our bar graph should be this much big. So here we are going to draw a bar graph like this, that x-axis and y-axis. On y-axis definitely we are going to mark all this number of people, that people who are watching and people who are participating in their sports. So here the numbers will come, that number of people watching and participating, whereas here on x-axis we are going to draw double bar graph pattern, and in that cricket, basketball, swimming, hockey, athletics. So all these sports will come here, and with this we are going to draw a bar graph for cricket. So here we are going to draw 2 bar graph, that people who are watching cricket and people who are participating in cricket, something like this. So that is how we are going to draw a bar graph, and accordingly we are choosing the scale on x-axis and y-axis. So on y-axis, I am going to take a scale that is 1 unit equals to 100 people. On x-axis, I am going to write the sports, that first is cricket. Now let us do markings for our bar graph, that cricket, number of people are watching is 1240. 1240 is somewhere in between this 1200 and 1300. It's here. So here first I am going to mark all the people who are watching all these sports. So I have marked for cricket. Now let us mark for the basketball, that 470 people are watching basketball. So this is basketball, and 470 will come somewhere over here. So 470 for basketball. Then swimming, 510 people are watching. So 510. Then hockey, 430 people are watching. Then athletics, 250 people are watching. Now I am going to mark a people who are participating in particular sports. So cricket, 620 people are participating. So 620 somewhere over here. Then basketball 320. Then swimming 320. Now let us join these lines and we are going to draw a bar graph for each and every sport. So when I will draw my bar graph, it will look something like this. Now let us answer some of the questions based on this bar graph. Draw a double bar graph choosing an appropriate scale. What do you infer from the bar graph? So from the bar graph we will infer that number of people who are watching the sports are more compared to the number of people who are participating into the sports. Second question, which sport is most popular? So here you can see that number of people watching cricket is maximum over here. So cricket is the most popular sport. Third question, which is the more preferred, watching or participating in sports? So here we can see that watching of sport is more preferred compared to the participating into the sport. Take the data giving the minimum and maximum temperature of various cities giving in the beginning of the chapter. That is, we have to take table 3.1. Plot a double bar graph using a data and answer the following. So all these questions we have to answer based on the bar graph. Now this is our table in which these are different cities, and for each and every city we have maximum and minimum temperature. So how we are going to plot our graph? This is our x-axis and this is our y-axis. So on x-axis definitely we are going to mark temperature. So temperature will come on y-axis, whereas on x-axis the cities will come. And here double bar graph will come because we are going to mark maximum temperature and minimum temperature here. So maximum and minimum temperature we are going to measure it over here. So double bar graph will come like this. Now about scale, as you can see that minimum and maximum temperature majorly readings or the observation are lying in between 30 degree to 20 degree. So if you will draw a bar graph like this, that for each unit you are taking 10 degree Celsius temperature, then this bar graph will concentrate over here in this region because majority of the readings are in between 20 to 30 and to 40. So to make this graph little bit bigger, what we are going to do is we are going to take 2 units per 10 degree. So earlier we were taking 1 unit for 10 degree, but now we are taking 2 units for 10 degree. So our bar graph will be little bit bigger and all the readings will not lie in this small region. So we are going to make this bar graph little bit bigger, and that is how we are going to take our estimated scale. So now let us start plotting our graph. This is my y-axis, this is my x-axis, and as I have explained earlier, I am taking 2 units for 10 degree. So per 2 unit I am taking 10 degree. So now let us mark maximum and minimum temperature. Ahmedabad it is 38, so it will come somewhere over here. So let us first mark all the maximum temperature. 38. Amritsar it is 37. Then Bangalore it is 28. Then Chennai it is 36. Delhi it is 38. Then Jaipur 39. And similarly, I am going to mark all the maximum and minimum temperature, and I am going to draw a bar graph accordingly. This is how my bar graph will look like when I am going to plot here maximum temperature and minimum temperature. So blue bars are represents the maximum temperature of the city, and the orange bars are represents the minimum temperature of the city. Now based on the bar graph, we have to answer some of the questions. That first question is, Which city has the largest difference in minimum and maximum temperature on given date? So we have to look at the bar graph and we have to see that where the difference is maximum. So as you can see here, between these two bars we can see that the difference is maximum. So that is the temperature of Jammu. So Jammu has the largest difference. Second question, which is the hottest city and which is the coldest city? So here hottest city is Jammu, as we can see here that this bars is maximum compared to all, whereas coldest city, so we have to check for the minimum temperature, and that we can see that Bangalore has the minimum temperature over here. So coldest city is Bangalore, whereas hottest city is Jammu. Third question, name two cities where maximum temperature of one was the less than the minimum temperature of the other. So Bangalore's maximum temperature is 20 degrees Celsius here. Now let us check for the minimum temperature, that Ahmedabad and Jammu here has the 29 degrees Celsius, which is even higher compared to the maximum temperature of Bangalore. Of these two cities, that Ahmedabad and Jaipur, this minimum temperature is also even higher than the Bangalore's maximum temperature. So Bangalore is the coldest place. Name the city which has the least difference between its minimum and maximum temperature. So the difference between two bars has to be minimum. That we can see it over here, that in Mumbai, the last two bars we can see that the difference is the least over here. So Mumbai has the least difference between minimum and maximum temperature. In this chapter we have learned concepts of how to plot a graph, how to take a scale, what are the bar graphs, what are the comparing bar graphs, that are double bar graphs, and so on. Hope you have understood all the concept well, and whatever graphs I have represented in this videos, those graphs have approximate values and they are approximate measures. So while you are plotting your own graph, please do take care of the scale and please see that you have taken 10 by 10 scale graph, because what all graphs I have used in this video, they are 10 by 10 graph. If your graphs measures are different, then you have to take scale accordingly. And what all scale I have taken in this video are based on approximate measure and approximate scale. So thank you for watching and learning with us. If you have any doubt, please comment down below. I'll see you in next video. Till then, keep learning, keep sharing, and don't forget to subscribe, Learn Yourself.